we welcome for the microengineering course. So we start here with a power transmission in a rectangular waveguide. So for this power transmission in rectangular waveguide, we should see that what is the electric field component and a magnetic field component there. So we should first understand that the power transmission in waveguide. We should understand first what are the various losses present inside the particular walls of the waveguide there, and then if there are the low losses, minimum losses, then maximum power transmission takes place, and that power transmission takes place can be obtained using a Poynting vector. So consider that guide is perfectly terminated, there is no reflection, and that guide is a infinite long. In that case, a power transmission we can obtain using the whatever the for given closed surface we are going to obtain a transmitted power, or we can say that it is nothing but a you can say a Poynting vector, or it can be expressed in terms of E cross H complex conjugate of it and into dS. This is about your vector quantity. Power is again a vector. So we can obtain what are the various electric field and a magnetic field components. Generally, we know that earlier we say that a guide impedance generally it is nothing but what a electric field component by the magnetic field component. So generally we say that it is nothing but a eta. Okay, Ex by Hy is nothing but the eta. This we can express in terms of electric field and magnetic field component, or we can express in terms of what another component, Y component and a Hx component. And this is about your guide. So if we consider that this electric field and magnetic field component, because it is about suppose Ex and this is nothing but a Hy, then what happen? We will get that power transmitted. Again, we can simplify instead of taking a electric field and magnetic field component. We can simplify the expression by writing only the electric field term or a magnetic field term. Are you getting what I am saying? So we can consider that Zg is equal to we have written. So or we can write Ex is equal to okay. We can write Ex is equal to what? Zg into Hy. So if supposed to be I have written that here Ex is equal to Zg into Hy, then what happen? This will be what 1 by 2 H H Hy Hy there. That's why it will be H square Zg by 2 H square. If supposed to be I am writing that Hy is equal to what Ex divided by Z. So in that case, our expression becomes power transmitted is equal to whatever the power transmitted, that is equal to what 1 by twice of Zg integral of what we say that electric vector component there is perpendicular and whatever the area we say, or we can say that it is about twice it will be of Zg here, and this is nothing but what a S square into T. Why this H square it comes here? Because we know that E square is equal to what X square plus Ey. Okay, and this one H is equal to, similarly we can find out H is equal to H. So we obtain directly the field component. Simply I'll write here, no confusion again. If I write the power transmitted in terms of what whatever the Zg we have, Zg is nothing but what in terms of we need to write sorry we write first Zg in terms of a intrinsic impedance 1 minus Fc by F. Okay, that's the body cutoff frequency. This is for what T, and Zg is equal to eta into 1 minus Fc by F bracket square is for a Tm. So for a T, suppose for a T, we need to write the ZG. So power transmitted is equal to what? Under root of what? Because ZG is there. 1 minus Fc by F square divided by price of eta into, that's about we have Ex component plus Ey component. You can say that Dx dy. You can say that this is from the 0 to B, this is from 0 to A. Okay, so that's about your expression. And similarly, we can write, okay, this is for the transmission for a E. Similarly, we can write, okay, power transmission for ATM. Power transmission for ATM is nothing but 1 by price of theta under root of 1 minus Fc by F bracket square integral 0 to B, 0 to A. This is nothing but what Ex square plus Ey square dx. This is about a power transmitted in terms of what? A electric field and a magnetic field component. So we can obtain that this E and X. If you see that, generally what happens? What do you mean by this? Okay, so generally what we say that a impedance is nothing but what? A component of what? Ex or Hy. That is Ex and Hy we have written. That is nothing but E. That is nothing but what we can say, that is about eta. But this can be, instead of writing this way, we can write what? Whatever the we have a component of it. Okay, E trans divided by H trans. So that is about a component. Which component is going to propagating transmitted component? Okay, so through this particular field, electric field and a magnetic field component. Because generally we say that Ez and Az is different. Okay, because Ez for a TE mode we say that Z is equal to 0, and for the TM mode we say that Z is equal to 0. Okay, so this one we say. So that's why whatever the component, it is nothing but X and Y. So we write electric field component and magnetic field component in that equation, so we get whatever the power transmitted in the given rectangular waveguide. Next, we consider that a power losses. So we have considered for a power transmission ideal case. In ideal case, we say that we have a guide and it is about a long and it is highly conducting. So then there won't be any losses or there won't be any dielectric losses. Okay, but in a practical case, there are the losses. Power losses are depending upon whatever the we have a dielectric medium. One we can say that it is depending upon what? It is about depending upon that dielectric, okay, material. That's why we can say that dielectric loss or a loss due to a dielectric. Next is about a loss, that is loss in a guide wave, whatever the guide we have, or you can say that a loss is in a guided wall, means walls of a rectangular waveguide. That is about the loss. So to obtain the loss, we consider first a dielectric loss. So dielectric loss is nothing but what? Which medium we have. Or we can say that in that case, conductivity is small than the mu epsilon. That is for the, if it is about a low loss dielectric. If it is a low loss dielectric, then sigma is very, very less than mu epsilon. Then we find out a loss component. Loss component means what? We say that generally a propagation constant is depending upon that alpha plus j beta. And this factor alpha, it is saying that how much is the attenuation takes place in the guide. That's why we consider that any plane wave traveling in any unbounded whatever the dielectric material. Okay, low loss dielectric material. In that case, generally for a plane wave, alpha is equal to what? Sigma by 2 under root of a mu by epsilon, or we can say that eta into sigma by 2. That is about the attenuation. Okay, so we can find out the attenuation in terms of what? Here we can say that about the intrinsic impedance, and here we can say that about the conductivity. But in the case of a T and a TM mode, that attenuation is depending upon that what will be the cutoff frequency of a guide. That's why we can write attenuation constant inside a guide is nothing but what? Sigma eta divided by twice of what? Under root of 1 minus fc by f. That is for what? For a T mode. If our propagation is a T mode, then alpha, okay, this one is about the alpha g is equal to what? Okay, sigma into eta. We can find out, and we can find out alpha g is equal to what? Sigma into eta divided by 2 under root of 1 minus fc by f bracket square. That is for the TM mode. Okay, so we can write that equation of electric field. Generally, we say that electric field component is nothing but whatever the EOZ direction in the direction of electric z direction there. E raised to minus alpha, okay, alpha g, and that is about the direction of propagation that is there. So this way we can find out the electric field component, or we can say that similarly we can find out the HOJ. We just consider that magnitude no plus or minus. Okay, so that is about my alpha g. Minus means what? This is about your forward propagation. Okay, your wave is propagating in a forward direction. So that's why we can find out the power transmitted for a particular guide is in terms of what? Electric field component and magnetic field component. So that's why similarly we can find out a loss in terms of what? A electric field component and a whatever we can say that about the magnetic field component. So generally a power loss, whatever the loss occurs in a guide, is depending upon that whatever the power transmitted. Power loss is generally it is about the less than the transmitted power, because a power transmitted is nothing but what? Whatever the power transmitted in a guide, at the end we are getting plus whatever the power loss. Okay, that is nothing but your loss. So that's why we can find out the loss in terms of a, or we can say that is a power loss in terms of a whatever the field component. We can find out directly power loss. That is about same equation earlier we have obtained, but only that we can say that there is about the S square and a dA. Similarly for what? RS we can write down, or we can say that this is not a surface resistance. So surface resistance is nothing but what? For a conducting walls. Okay, so if you consider that a surface resistance is about a surface resistance, what will be its what? A conductivity and whatever the rho. We can find out, sorry, that is about rho is nothing but resistivity, and we can 1 by rho is nothing but a conductivity. So we can write here a conductivity, and this is nothing but a, we can have a depth of penetration in the particular guide. So here we can find out in terms of what? Alpha g by the whatever the conductivity here. That is nothing but what? Under root of what? Pi of mu by sigma. And we can write power loss in terms of what? Rs by 2 integral square by dx. That is about a power loss. So if you write alpha g, that is about the guide loss in terms of a surface resistance, we can say that S square ds. Similarly, we have the price of Zg, okay, price of Zg, integral of a S square ds, or we can say that about the expression for the particular That is about the power losses. Now, already we have seen that various modes in a guide. Various modes in a guide. To obtain the modes in a guide, you just remember that for a TE mode, for a TE mode, your excitation becomes what? This one. Okay, this for the TE mode. Now, if you have TM mode is there, it's about the same rectangular waveguide. Now, in that case, your excitation becomes likewise. If I draw electrical component, then direction. Now, direction sometimes this one likewise. So in that case, we consider that a field component that is about the H. This is a field component about electric field component E. Now, if you see here, what I am saying for this, okay, so base we have for a rectangular waveguide is about your okay long size of this rectangle. Electric field component is a perpendicular, and here electric field component, magnetic field component is a parallel. So from this way, you can find out what are the modes in a given waveguide. So based on the modes in given waveguide, you can find out what are the various excitations in a rectangular waveguide. Excitations means what? How you are providing the input to the guide. So generally we say that rectangular waveguide shape. Now we need to excite to the rectangular guide. So from this particular length to the lambda by 4. Okay, from this end. Now this is supposed to be end of the guide and we are transmitting the power to given this direction. So now at lambda by 4, we have to insert the probe. So here, okay, we have to insert the probe. So that is from the bottom of this particular guide. Okay, bottom of this particular side. Means we have to insert a probe likewise at a place of what? A lambda by 4. At a place of a lambda by 4. We have to insert a probe. Means here. Okay, so like we have to insert a probe. If suppose we have inserted only a single probe, then it becomes what? A TE mode. If we are inserting a two probe here, then there will be a T2 mode. Okay, so T10 mode or a T20 mode is depending upon that how we are inserting the probe inside a guide. Okay, likewise. And for the TM mode, means from this particular side of a guide, we need to excite. So then it becomes what? A TM mode. Okay, if it is one mode, TM one mode, or you can say that is about TM, whichever one is there. So this is about one probe. If we insert a two probe, then it becomes a TM21 mode. Okay, so TM for a T from this side, from a TM from this side, we have to insert the probe. So that is called as a excitation of a waveguide, rectangular waveguide in a given particular mode. How we can excite the waveguide so for this purpose. So number of probes, we say that it is excitation. Already we have seen that okay for a T10 mode, for a T10 mode is about your electrical component. For the same rectangular side, if supposed to be I am saying that likewise I draw here. Now this is about a change in a direction. In that case, it is called as a T20 mode. This is about a 10 mode. It is called as a 20 mode. Similarly, for a magnetic field, if we excite from this given direction, then we say that here we have a magnetic field component. This is nothing but your magnetic field component H. In that case, it is 1. For a same size, direction changes here, you can say that is about the TE20, TM20. Okay, TM10, TM20. Okay, likewise. TM21, TM11. Okay, likewise. But TM1 component that is for the TM. Okay, so that's why you can say that the bottom one or two here. So by this way we can excite your rectangular waveguide. So when we couple the power to the guide, so from that this place, so from this end is lambda by 4, and then we can excite using a any coaxial cup probe to be inserted there and couple your power. Next, your next microwave cavity. Generally, a microwave cavity is nothing but a closed rectangular waveguide. End of this rectangular waveguide, it is closed. Means we can say that it is a metallic enclosure that confines your electromagnetic energy inside the cavity. So this is simple. What happen here in the cavity? It is just like looks like a simple rectangular waveguide. This is about your rectangular waveguide. Now what happen here in the cavity? This end is a closed. This end is a closed. Okay. Again, that another end is again closed. Now this is a closed one. Okay, your guide it looks like a closed one. So we can say that when we say that it is a cavity, cavity means what? It is a closed compartment and it has inside it has a cavity. Then we can consider this cavity to close your power, or we can say that it is a metallic enclosure that confines the EM energy. So what are the EM energy means what? It has a stored electric and a stored magnetic energy. Just like we see that Poynting vector for a given particular closed surface, there is stored energy in electric form, stored energy in a magnetic form. Same, stored electric and a magnetic energy inside the cavity. And then because of that stored energy, we can obtain for a given particular cavity whether that cavity is an inductive cavity or a capacitive cavity. Now we see later that about the capacitance and inductance part inside particular cavity and all. Okay, how? Okay, so because the length of the when we insert the probe here, and according to that, that probe will act as, or we can say that obstacle will act as a capacitive or an inductive one. Okay, so we see that later. That is, it is depending upon that length of that particular probe there. Then, for a given particular cavity, energy will be dissipated. Okay, energy will be dissipated in that particular cavity there. But at what particular place? Because we need to know about what will be the particular size of the particular cavity there. When we provide any signal to this particular cavity, what happens? It provides a maximum standing wave. Okay, because it has a electric energy and a magnetic field energy are confined and both are equal. So that's why it provides a maximum standing wave ratio. Okay, but standing wave that reflection occurs. So that's why you can say that it provides a maximum standing wave. So standing wave occurs. And for a given particular cavity, that modes are dependent upon what will be the size. A we say in a rectangular waveguide and B here we say. But in the case of a cavity, there is one more distance is to be there, and that distance is nothing but the length of the cavity. So we have written earlier there are the modes. Modes are nothing but TMN mode, or we can say that about the TMMN mode. But here TMMNP and TMMNQ. That P and Q stand for the how many modes occurs in that particular given direction. That is about for a particular length, whatever the length of the given waveguide. Now, based on that, we have the equations for the cavity there, because T mode, even if it is a T mode or TM mode, everything is depending upon that field component. For a T, okay, for a T, MNP, we need to obtain that HZ component, and based on the HZ component, we can obtain all other component there. So that is what cos of n pi y b is equal to sine of p pi z by d. Because same is there. These are the expressions same. That is for the T mode. Only this one is added. This one is added because of what? We have a cavity. Okay. This one is added because we have a cavity. And this one is about the length is a d. So that's why d here. P is nothing but what? That's about the, just like we have said that yam, yan. Okay. So that is about the how many, it represents that how many half wave. Whatever, what it represents, how many half waves in yam, how many half wave. Okay. That is the given direction. That is x direction there. Or half wave in y direction. So similarly that P nothing but what? It will not start from the zero. Basically this is start from the zero. Similarly it start from the 0, 1, 2, 3. But P will not start. P will start from the 1, 2, 3. It will not start from the zero. Otherwise no cavity. That is in the what? Half wave in the z direction. Half wave in the z direction. So this is for the T mode. For a TM mode, is it same? Only what happen here for the TM mode condition is that Z is present and Z is equal to 0. That's why we can find out the component of Ez. That is what we can say that you said sine of m pi x by a sine of n pi y by b cos of p pi z by d. Okay, so that is about your, and this becomes what we say that if we consider the for the T and TM mode, whatever the propagation constant for this particular thing, particular your guide, it is depending upon that what will be the field, whatever the A and B side, okay, and what are the N, M and P values, sides and this one. We can find out a resonating frequency is nothing but what? Under root of what? Twice of, we can say that under, because we can consider that K is equal to what? Okay, we can say that about the omega under mu epsilon. So we can say that omega under mu epsilon we have. So we can find out that the omega is equal to twice pi f. So pi get cancelled, so that's why this is 2 is here. Okay. So and it is nothing but the expression for what? M by A by n by b square plus p by d square. That's about your FR. That's about your resonating frequency. Okay, inside the guide. So we can obtain that resonating frequency of a your cavity, and that is depending upon that factor of what? It is about A, B, D here. So similarly here the excitation modes in a cavity, it is depending upon that how you are exciting from the given mode. For a rectangular cavity, suppose we are exciting from this end, in that case that H will be higher and E will be smaller. If we are exciting from this particular mode, E will be higher. That's why it is called as a T. It is called as a T. Okay, so likewise, we can excite direct microwave cavities based on this particular. It is very easy, so no need to confuse for this particular guide and all, because our aim is about to understand that what are the cavities and all. Next, we need to learn about the various components. Okay, so that various components, waveguide components. So before that, I'll just tell you a circular waveguide. Then we start our system. circular waveguide, or you can say that the about the cylindrical shape waveguide. Nothing but cylindrical shape, nothing more. Okay, instead of a rectangular one, it is about a circular shape, or you can say that is about the cylindrical shape of the waveguide. So we can consider this particular waveguide for whatever the polarizations we are getting, nothing more. All other expressions, that is T mode, TM mode, okay, HZ component, EZ component, everything is common for this rectangular waveguide. But expressions are different here. Okay, with the procedure and everything is the same. We obtain the Z, we obtain the T, okay, that velocity, phase velocity, everything we need to obtain for this circular waveguide. It is about a circular shape, it's of a rectangular. But our syllabus, we need to see that about a rectangular shape. That's why we have a rectangular shape. There is no difference more in the rectangular and a circular waveguide. Only the mode is, what are the difference there? Dominant mode. Generally, we say that the dominant mode is about rectangular waveguide. It is a TE10. In a circular waveguide, it will not be a TE10 because everything is changes, right? So in that case, dominant mode may be a TE11. Okay, likewise. We need to find out what is the dominant mode for the particular waveguide. That is about your circular waveguide. Next, we need to find out, okay, what are the waveguide components. So there are the various waveguide components, and that waveguide components are nothing but what? A T. That is E plane T, then the S plane T. T is nothing but a junction. Then EHT. Then we can consider that about a twist. Then we consider that about the alternator. Then we consider about a circulator. Okay. Then we see that isolator. Then we'll see that a coupler, multiple directional coupler, or which. Now these are the various components to be learned. Now for each and every component, that common thing is what? It is a rectangular waveguide. But these are okay. There are a lot of components available. Okay, right now I have stopped here. Okay, it's about the antenna. That's about in terms of rectangular. They are about the all other components. But for each and every component, we need to connect our source to the various components. Or then we use some particular device to be connected, any device. So now this particular component, when we are connecting to the source or some particular device, we are expecting here a output from what? From the given particular component. We are expecting that we have to provide the input to the given particular component. So now for understanding the behavior of this component, we should know that what will be the input side requirement and what we are getting output from this particular device. So that's why we have to find out the input output characteristics of this particular device. So to understand that input output device characteristics, we should know that what is the basic structure of this particular component, and we need to provide the input and see the output. Right now here, to understand the characteristics of a given component, we are learning here the wave. We are not learning related to the current and voltage. We are learning here a wave. Now when wave is provided input to the given component, supposed to be something goes wrong, it is not matched, so then there will be a reflection at the end. So that's why we can say that we need to find out what will be the incident wave and what will be the reflected wave. We need to obtain the incident wave and a reflected wave, and that is the nature for the given particular component. So that's why we can learn here a what is the nature of the given component. for that purpose, we need to learn about the waves and all. So generally, what happens in a circuit theory, you know that you people have learned that Z component, okay, Z parameter, H parameter, okay, Y parameter, okay. So that, or you can say that is about you people have learned ABCD parameter. Okay. So lot of parameters, that parameters you have learned, but in the case of a micro frequencies, these parameters cannot be used, and we could not say the behavior of the our particular component. But if we study the behavior of the incident wave and reflected wave at the given particular component, we are able to say that about the behavior. So ABCD parameter, this parameter cannot be used because we are not providing any current or a voltage to the rectangular waveguide. We are just taking, or we are just providing the input wave, and we are getting the output wave from the given particular component. Only wave we are expressing anything of it, any behavior of the component based on the incident wave and a reflected wave at that given port, that port or input port or output. Because here no parameters applicable, because wave is there, because there is no current and voltage, and due to that no current and voltage, short circuit and open circuits are not possible here, because it is working in a frequency that is about the high frequencies. So at a high frequency, short circuit and open circuit is not possible. So that's why we are not able to learn the behavior based on this particular current. So we need to learn the behavior of the component based on the whatever the incident wave and whatever the reflected wave. So to understand that the incident wave and the reflected wave, we need to learn about the S parameter, or we can say that about the scattering matrix, or we can say that about the scattering parameter. So that scattering parameter provides you what are the input conditions and output condition at a given particular port. So to understand that a scattering matrix or a scattering parameter, just a small diagram, you just remember that it's about some particular network or a component we have. And for this particular component, okay, general thing, we are providing the input here. We are providing the input to the particular port we have. Particular port, and then about your load. Now at this particular port, we say it is about port 1, we say it is about the port 2. So what will be the incident wave? Okay, what will be the incident wave? And what will be the reflected wave? Or we can say that what will be the incident wave and what will be the reflected wave at a given particular port. So we can obtain that incident parameter for a given particular port. We see that for a port A1 reflection, that's about the B1. Here we can say that's about A2, and we say that's about the B2. So S parameters provide you the nature of the reflected component in terms of whatever the given port we have. So this is about input port 1 1, we are incident here. Okay, we are reflecting here. We say that it is about S12 and S22. Here we get B1 is equal to what? S11 A1 plus S12 A2. B2 is equal to what? S21 A1 plus S22. That's about your S parameter. Now generally, for the given S parameter, we say that for any parameter, if you consider, okay, it's about your scattering matrix or scattering parameter. So simple thing in the given S matrix or S parameter, is depending upon that what are the port we have. Okay, what are the various ports of a given particular port? Or generally, it is nothing but it looks like a component there, and we are providing the incident here. Here the incident. We say that is about the A1 now. I am saying that is about the A2. Saying that is about the A3. I am saying that is about the AN. So similarly, we are getting the reflection at the same time. You can say that is about the B1. You can say it is about the B2. We say that it is about the B3. You can say that is about the BN. So that is about the reflection at the given particular port. So simply we can write a matrix is about a B1 is equal to what? S11 A1, S12 A2, S13 A3. Likewise, we can have the expression of what? S1N. That is about the AN. Similarly for the B2, same. S21 A1, S22 A2 plus S23 A3 plus S2N. So at the end, if I write Bn, here we can say that about the Bnn, okay, sorry, Sn1 A1 plus Sn2 A2 plus, okay, Sn3 A3 plus Snn. Okay, so like that. So we can simply write in the form of matrix 1, B1, B2, and a Bn here is equal to S11, S12, S1n, S21, S22, S2n. Okay, that's about Sn1, Sn2, Sn3, and this becomes what? A1, A2, and A3. This is nothing but what? A reflected. This is nothing but what? Incident. And this becomes what? A scattering matrix or S matrix. Okay, so this is about your, you can say that incident and this one, or you can say that B is equal to what? We have a reflected wave or a scattering wave at this given particular point. So B is nothing but a scattered at that particular port. B is equal to what? You can say that S. Say that about the A. And this S is nothing but what? A square matrix. We need to find out a property. Okay, we need to find out the properties of a matrix. So what are the various properties of this particular matrix? Learn again. The properties are nothing but a S matrix in that case. Okay, for a given particular matrix, the properties are same. Okay. Now after 5 minutes, if the meeting closed, all of you join. Okay. Once that meeting closed, okay, हम लोगों का भी है lecture 12 को. Okay, how it will be 12 को lecture? Some Vinay is saying. Okay, once the meeting is stopped, you join again. So we have to take attendance. Okay, if meeting close, you okay. Then we need to learn about the properties of this matrix. Okay, so we see that is about the properties of S matrix. The general property is your S matrix is always positive one. That sorry, always a square matrix. We can find out a incident factor and a reflected component. So it is nothing but what we can say that is about the it is about the always whatever the matrix is there, it is always a square one. So we can find out a square matrix means what? Order will be what? A n by n. That is about a square matrix. The order of this particular components are nothing but a n. And generally, a component is represented in terms of S of ij is equal to what? B of I by A of j. Then for all the ports we have to write. And this I and j, okay, in that case, I is nothing but what? Representing what? At what port we are getting the output. J is nothing but what at what port we are providing the input. Okay, it is about Fij. I is nothing but what port we are getting the output. At what port we are providing the input. Suppose I am writing that. Suppose I am writing supposed to be F is equal to 1 2. That 1 2 means what? Is about the 2 is input and this one is nothing but the output, or you can say that the what is scattered at the given particular port. Okay, so we can say that input here, we can say that the output. Now revise it as I have said earlier for the scattering matrix here. Now I what I say here, S12 is nothing but what? Input, 2 is input. Okay, here S1. Now this one is about the S12. Here is the 2 is input and 1 we are getting, that is about the scattered output. Okay, so that is about the output. Here 2 is input. So similarly, we can find out S21, S31 likewise. So you just remember that Sij is nothing but I is nothing but what? Output, or you can say that about the scattered at that particular point, and J is nothing but about the input at that particular point. If supposed to be, if